Nancy says, "Send me the Freedom Magazine article and call CAST and tell them you are concerned about this one group that is a member but is truly a Scientology front group." Okay? The magazine article, I'm sure there are links to. I know I put it in what I had found in what I had said publicly by that time. And doubtlessly CAST is getting this information, but I fully intend to be in communication with CAST, and I fully intend to track down the people in the government who were referring victims of Scientology to this organization, CAST, which enjoys a very cozy relationship with Scientology. The State Department and the other branches of the federal government know without any doubt whatsoever that Scientology is an intelligence operation and does suppress and destroy basic human rights on a massive scale. Nancy continues, "There is absolutely no contact between the people on these dangerous lines to safety. And I'll tell you something, Gerry, if one person fails to go for help or loses safety due to your wildly boogeyman fear of Scientology, then I will out you." Now, it's not clear what Nancy means by outing me. I am Gerry Armstrong, so in that sense, I'm outed. She appears to know something about me that she's going to out. In any case, that also, like it being on my head, comes across to me as a threat from someone who will be looking for someone who fails to go for help or loses some safety that can then be ascribed to me. I don't think that my fear of Scientology is wildly boogeyman at all. I believe that I have the documentation to show that my fears of Scientology are justified and that I have actually, given what has happened to me, handled my fears relatively well, and that they are not wildly boogeyman. Perhaps deal with that a little further on. She continues, "Don't you get who these people are attempting to help and are helping, and you want to destroy that because one Scientology youth group fundraises for them or whatever they do to them?" Now there again, I do not want to destroy whatever good they are doing to help people. I know she says that they've saved thousands of lives, and my examination of whatever statistics I could find do not bear that out, and there's been a relatively small number of people who have actually been served by CAST, and that this has created a problem in CAST, that they didn't have enough clients. But I'll get on to that in a little bit. Don't you get who these people are attempting to help? Yes, I do. Or at least I get the picture of their being severely destitute, severely abused, enslaved, physically deprived, physically beaten on, perhaps prostituted people. Not educated people, not people living in nice houses, but people who are street people, people like that. Or people who were involved in sweatshops that were kept chained to their sewing machines, things like that. That's the picture that is being conveyed. It's been conveyed throughout what Nancy has said or written about CAST, what CAST says about itself, and what the society awareness of what human trafficking is and who victims of human trafficker are at this time in the West. I don't want to destroy that in any way whatsoever, And the idea that I want to destroy it and that she knows that that's my motivation in all of this, that's very crazy, and it also is threatening. I don't want anybody to be victimized by caste or by Scientology or by anyone. And people who, like me, approached it legitimately and weren't part of the con and didn't want to be deluded, they would be victimized by going to caste. Caste needs to become honest and open up, if it's really going to open its doors to real victims of Scientology, then boy oh boy, it better take a position against Scientology just as if it had the name of some gang in East LA or wherever gangs exist. Scientology claims to have some 5,000 Sea Org members, and people are saying that all of those people are victims of human trafficking. So let's say there's another gang that's about the same size as the Scientology gang, and it has 5,000 victims. Well, if you had the Red Scorpion gang, is caste execs really going to meet with them on the subject of human trafficking? Okay, is caste going to accept $1 million that was arranged for caste by a very high and powerful member of the Red Scorpions that's a member of Congress? I don't think so. So the only way for caste to get out of this predicament is to tell the truth about Scientology, or to, right at the outset, not accept cases that come from Scientology, because that, as will be seen, would constitute a fraud. Now, if they are leveraged by what's going on here, if they're being forced at this point to spend some of their grant money on funneling a few bucks to some Scientology victims to prove that the system works, fine. I at least will see through it. Interesting too that someone came forward and said that caste has received no money from any Scientology organization, Scientologist organization, I think it was said. And think of that here's Scientology, a multi-billion-dollar organization right there in the same congressional district where all of this evil is happening. The stats continue to go up. That crime is not being closed down at all. And Scientology gave zero money to help this organization? There's something totally wrong in that. It's wrong either way. If Scientology gave them money, it's wrong. If Scientology didn't give them money, it's wrong. Scientology should distance itself from caste, and caste should distance itself from Scientology. And then, if caste really is legitimate, then Scientology should give them a big chunk of money to use only to help the victims of human trafficking. It's very odd, isn't it, that Scientology will pay no money, the billion-dollar corporation right there adjacent to caste will pay no money to help its victims, but expects and is sending its victims to this NGO, this non-profit, which is actually funded largely by the citizens, by taxes, by the government. There's something wildly wrong with this whole situation. And I am not a forensic accountant, and if I ever had the mind for that sort of thing, I don't have now. I don't have the time. But I think that this is very easy for people with those kinds of minds to put together what has actually been going on with caste and with Scientology, them together, and what really are the stats regarding castes serving the people that it claims to be serving. So I don't want to destroy this organization because one Scientology youth group fundraises for them. Okay, I didn't know that Youth for Human Rights had fundraised for them or fundraises for them, and I don't believe I've ever said that, but that's nice to know. That's another connection. Now, Youth for Human Rights is not a Scientology youth group. It's a Scientology front group, and it is run by adults, and it is controlled by David Miscavige. It employs high-powered, slick attorneys.